December. What happened to this year? Ah, yikes. Anyway, I'm Barb Owen of HowToGetCreative.com. I'm so glad that you're here, whether you're in person or you're watching the recording. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here. And I'm glad you're here. So I want to take a second and say that this is a live recording that is happening on Ustream at the moment. And so you hear me talking to people, it's because there's a live chat going on. You will see me watch the monitor a lot because I'm watching the chat. So here comes my yellow dog. She just came bursting in the room. What you doing? What you doing? She just came running in the there she is. You can see her going past. That's Sandy. She just came running in here like, oh, there's something happening. So I guess I don't know, she doesn't hear very well, so you wouldn't think she would have heard me talking. So I don't know. All right, she'll assume her position here in just a second. Usually she's all settled down by the time I start. Anyway, so this is a live recorded stream. So you will hear me talking to people. We refer to them. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. As our friends in the box. I am surrounded by my animal friends. I have Sandy, who normally lays right here in the corner by me. Muppet at the moment, the little black mixed breed dog, is out in the backyard, and I will probably have to stop in a little bit, go let her in because she can't keep her mouth shut and she gets the neighbors upset. And then the two sponsors reside behind door number 1 when we're streaming. So, yeah. You've never seen Sandy before? Oh, Sandy, come here. I'll let you see her. Hold on. Come here. Sandy, come here. Come here. Hey, come here. Come here. Here, over here. Come here. Come here. Come here. There you go. Come here. Come on so they can see your face. Come here so they can see your face. Sit. Sit down. Sit. There we go. All right, hang on a minute. I gotta get my camera so you can see her. Here she is. This is Miss Sandy. This is Miss Sandy. Yeah, there she is. She is 13 years old. She's a golden retriever. And so, yeah, she has a very white face now. She's a very good girl, aren't you? She's a very good girl most of the time. Yeah, so that's Sandy. Okay, so now you know what she looks like. She's for reals. She is for reals. Yeah. All right, go lie down. Go lie down. She doesn't hear much anymore, and well, I've got some serious light going on today. I look a little ghostly with all the light I have happening here. So sorry. Oh well. Anyway, she is a sweet girl, and so she usually assumes her position. I'll show you where she stays most of the time. When I'm in the studio. Sorry, I'm getting my camera where you can see her here. Just a second. When I'm in the studio, that's where she is. And that is directly behind me and just slightly to my left. And that's where she is most of the time. And that's where she likes to stay. And sometimes she gets all beside my chair. And, gets in my way and stuff. But, we make concessions. I don't even know. Hi, Josie. I don't even know how we came up with the name Sandy. It probably was from Annie, but I don't know. Who knows? Okay. So, let's see. Welcome to Drama Free Friday. I forgot to say that. And, yeah, it's great to have you guys all joining me. Let's see if I can change my my ghostly appearance just a smidge. Just a smidge. So maybe. Maybe I won't look quite so much like somebody scared the life out of me. Anyway, hi Meg. Come on in, everybody. And anybody, hi Trina. Anybody that I did not say hello to, I see Julie. Anybody that I didn't say hello to, please consider yourself welcomed. And I'm so glad you're here. So yeah, Drama-Free Friday. Well, this week has been anything but drama-free up until now. And it has been a crazy week in the United States of America in many respects. And so, you know what, we're not going to pretend that these things don't happen. We're just going to take a vacation from them for a few minutes and for a couple of hours and just do some other stuff, because if there was something we could do to deal with the craziness that goes on in this place, we should get out and do it. And if we don't have the ability to do it, we shouldn't let it drive us crazy. And so that's my attitude about that. So Drama-Free Friday. Anyway, so this week, the last couple of weeks, because I didn't stream last week, it was the day after our Thanksgiving, and I was just really busy doing, hey, Whippy Carol. I last week had it was just busy. That's all. We're all busy, but you know. Anyway, last week I was finishing up Santas, and you're going to get to see them today. And the Santas are something that my husband and I do every year. And every year I think, I don't know if we're doing it another year, but we did it this year. And so this year we produced 16 pieces. They are wood carvings from northern basswood, and you'll learn more about that as we go along. And so we have quite a few of them that are already gone, but I did a recording so that you'll be able to see them all. So we'll, if all goes well, you're going to get to see the video. So anyway, more on that in a little bit. So yesterday, you know, sometimes you just have to like take a minute and and brag about something, you know. So I just have to brag about my granddaughter. And many of you know her name is Christy. And she is she's in the last part of her master's degree, which here that means that you've gone through 4 years of undergraduate school. This is beyond high school at the university. And then you do the master's degree. That's the next program if you choose to do that, which she did. And so this semester, she completes all of her classwork. And then next semester, she does what's called field work. And the field work is where she goes out and actually does all the practical stuff. So she's in a field called Occupational Therapy. And they had in her group of fellow students, they had to do this thing that was a research project that lasted, it took place, I think, over the course of about, I think she said it was like 3 semesters or something. I mean, this is a big old project. And so she was on a team with, you know, I think it was 2 other students. And yesterday was kind of like the culmination of this big project. Hey, Vicky. And hey, Janet. And so they did this presentation. It was called a poster presentation. And so that meant, and she invited us to go. Well, I'm going to tell you that anytime she's doing something like that, I don't care what else is going on. I'm going to stop it and I'm going to what she's doing. That's all. And so, you know, because I feel like if they invite you, the least you can do is try really hard to go, because they wouldn't invite you if it were not important. So we went to the university, which we live in the same town with the University of Missouri, which is quite a big place, I have to say, and you can get really lost. Fortunately, it was in one of the buildings that was kind of on the fringe area, you know, the outer perimeter of the university property, and so it wasn't too hard to find the building. But the building is kind of like a maze, like many of them. They've been added on to and added on to. And so it took us a while to find her, but we found her. And we walked into this room, and, technology being what it is and how much it's changed, it has changed education so much. And, she and I talk about her going to school and all the things that she's doing from time to time, but it still doesn't really click as to what's going on until you go there and you get to see it, So we walk in this room, and I'm thinking poster presentation, which is what it was. It was called, I'm going to tell you specifically, it was called the Graduate, this is impressive, right? Graduate Synthesis Poster Presentations. Hey, Kyla. Welcome. Hi, Meg. So doesn't that sound like that's a $40 million title? Anyway, you walk in the room, and I'm thinking posters. I'm thinking like the things you go to Walmart and you buy this poster that's like, 20 by 30 or 22 by 32 or whatever. This is what we did. You buy the poster, you get your markers, and, you plot it all out with your pencil and your ruler, and you get everything all just so, and then you draw your stuff, you put your stuff on the poster, and then you present it because you talk about it. No, people, that's not what this is. This shows you how much I am out of the loop when it comes to higher education. Walked in, and this is a fairly good sized room. It wasn't huge, but it was a fairly good sized room. And lining all the walls of this room were monitors that were probably 36 inches long, maybe longer, I don't know, by maybe 25 or 26 inches tall. And these monitors lined this room. And in each pod of, students, I guess, there were students at each monitor. So they were their own little unique group. And their poster was projected onto the monitor. So, yeah. So that was really fun. And then they presented their information. So the group that she was with was called The Relationship Between Mindfulness and Occupational Engagement. So that was really interesting and a lot of fun to get to hear her and see her. She was very professionally dressed, and to get to see her talk about, this research project that had gone on for such a long time. And it was, yeah, exactly, Vicki. It was kind of like that, except this had gone on for like 3 semesters. Anyway, it was great to get to see her in a different setting, because usually I see her when she's here and her hair's all flopped up on top of her head. She's got on sweats and, blue jeans or shorts and that kind of stuff. And so to see her professionally dressed and presenting herself, it was, with her official name tag on, it was really fun. It was really fun to be able to see her and to listen to her speak about what she was doing. So it was great. I know, Vicki, I know. But it was great. And then she took us all around the department and showed us all the different rooms, because they have clinics there where they have people that actually come in, and they get to, they're all supervised. The students are all supervised, but they get to actually have hands-on experience with adult clients as well as children. And so it was really, really cool to get to step into someone else's world and really see what they're doing. I mean, if you have the opportunity to do that, take advantage of it. Walk in to someone else's world doing something that you don't know anything about, and just, open your eyes to what somebody else is doing. It was really neat. I was a very tickled, honored, and very proud grandma to get to do that. So anyway, I just wanted to give her a big shout out, because she has had a very, very difficult last year. Since about February of this year, it's been a really tough year, and she has truly risen above all of the stuff. I mean, there have been some things in my life that, everybody has tough things and challenges. And there have been some things in my life that I thought, oh my goodness, there can't be anything that's any harder than this to deal with. Don't ever think that, people. Don't ever think that. But I will tell you, you know, anything that I ever thought that was really tough to deal with doesn't hold a candle to what she's had to deal with these past few months. But she is just about to get through all the classwork. She has her finals next week, and then she's off for about a month, and then she comes back and goes into field work. So I know, Linda, it's so true. It is so true. Okay, I'm going to have to flip on the fan because it's getting hot here, peeps. Okay. All right. So that was that. Last night I went to book club at Soul Sentiments, and that was a lot of fun. And I thought I would show you. This part is not going to take very long. I'm going to show you the journal page that I did a couple of weeks ago. I showed you part of it, and I finished it, so I thought I would show it to you. And so this is it. This part is just scraped paint. Hey, Cheryl. Yeah, I know. As soon as you think, oh, nobody has it any worse than me, oh, it will come and bite you. It's just kind of one of those things. Anyway, so I just thought I would show you this. I'd shown you part of it in progress a few weeks ago. This is, the background is using a technique from Mary Beth Shaw's book it's called The Stencil Girl or something like that. Same book that Paula was doing a couple weeks ago. And these parts right here, the black parts, those are from a screen that I created. And so I did a screen print image through on top of this part back here. This is done with National Geographic magazines because it's what I had, and stencils, and sanding through the stencil was below, the National Geographic pages were on top, and then sanding in order to pick up the texture from the stencil. And then the dragonflies came from another stencil, but I sanded a little too hard, and then I realized that it sanded enough that it was just really easy to cut them out. And so I did, and added them on top of the page. Hey, Jan. So anyway, that was there, and then I screen printed the dragonflies on top that I did later. Anyway, then I added the quote, and it says, "Waiting to fly, we must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us." So anyway, I just thought I'd show you that because it was finished. And earlier I was watching Paula, Journal Artista, and she was using one of the crystal star pins. I've forgotten what it is, the clear glitter pin. And the one that I used on this, and I'm sure you can't see it in the light because I don't think it's going to pick it up. But anyway, another one that you can do that's kind of similar to that pin is the Wink of Stella. So this is the clear Wink of Stella. And so that's what I used on the dragonfly wing. So it has a little bit of that iridescent kind of quality that they have. So anyway, so I just thought I'd show you that. And I picked up a couple of the new Stays-On inks that I had not used before. And these are the little guy Stays-On inks in some different colors. So this is the size of the Stays-On ink, the normal ink pads. Thank you. And so these, they came out with new colors and stuff. So I picked up a couple of them because I just wanted to see what they were like. And so I did a little test just so you could see what they were like. This color is Cactus Green. So the ink pads are smaller, but they're bigger than the Distress Minis. Yeah, the Wink of Stella is really nice. The clear one is the one that I think I will use the most. It comes in different colors. These come in different colors, but this is the only one that I bought because I thought, pretty much that's the one I would use the most. So, So this, what I tested this with, and I think it's a really nice color, and it's a color I don't have, and I have quite a few ink pads, but this is, I mean, this falls in a different line of green, you know, in the spectrum of greens. This is completely different than anything else I have. So anyway, this is a little stamp that I did. I carved the stamp, and I carved a different image on both sides, and so that's what's on here. This one may have had some other ink on it, so this one is probably not as true in color as this one is. But it's a nice color, isn't it, Jean? I thought you'd like that. I think Jean will like this color. And then the other color that I got, so that one was cactus green, and this one is called Ganache, like chocolate ganache. And I was surprised at how dark this was. But this is the Ganache over on this side right here. So it's a very dark brown, more of an espresso kind of color, you know. So this is, again, the size ink pad, which is, I think it's about 1.25 inches. Let me see. About 1.5 inches square is the size of the ink pad, just so you know. And so that is another one of the stamps that I did and put on here, but it's kind of a, I'd say it's kind of a blackish brown color. This one is timber brown, so let's see how it compares. We'll see. We'll see what we think. And I don't know how old this ink pad is, so could be really old, you know, to where I might not get a good print, but we'll see. Yep. All right, let me try it again. See if I can get it inked well enough. Get enough ink on it, maybe. I'll try it again. Hey, Cindy. Yeah, my ink pad just doesn't have enough stuff for us to even do a comparison. But anyway, my suspicion is that this is a redder brown than what the Ganache is, but since I don't have a well inked ink pad, it's kind of a fruitless chance experiment. Anyway, so there was that. I also got some stencils while I was there, and so I thought I would show you the different stencils that I got. This was last night at the book club. Whoops, you'll not be able to see that. Hold on a second. Sorry about the sunlight streaming in over here, but it's that time of day and the sun is just going to come in, even though I've got the blinds tipped. So this is the mini joyful sunflower. And sorry, trying to do something and talk at the same time. Never works for me. Never works. So that is a link to this stencil. It's actually a link to the 12 by 12 version. I couldn't find the 6 by 6 version on Amazon, but anyway, it's the same stencil. It's just a whole lot bigger. But you can find out more about it if you're interested in learning about the mini joyful sunflower or the joyful sunflower. And this one is TCW 575S, and the big one is just TCW 575. Okay, we're not going to worry about putting those away, but I just think that's a really nice, I love sunflowers. I think that's a neat one. This is another one. Forgot to take the phone off the hook. And this one is called Arrows and Hearts. It also comes in, this is the 12 by 12 version. I think I will probably use it more as like borders. And this is the 12 by 12. It also comes in the 6 by 6. And give you a link to that if you want to check it out. Help yourselves. That is the link to the 12 by 12. But I can just see this as being very useful in a lot of applications. And so I thought I would show you that. So I got that one. Yeah, it is. It's really fun borders. And then this one, for you guys that are animal lovers, you're going to like these next two. And you may have seen them before. So because this is a 12 by 12, I'm going to have to kind of slide it around on my piece of paper. So this one is called Kitties. It's TCW583. It's called Kitties. Now this is the 12 by 12. If you're doing cards and that kind of stuff, you're going to want the 6 by 6. These are big, you know, these are pretty sizable cats. But the ball of yarn, the footprints, pretty stinking cute. I used this. Oops, got my ring hung up. I used this one on the using this on the smaller stencil on one of the classes I did with Cheryl Bogliosi, I think is how she pronounces her name. Anyway, did that one. So the cool thing about this and what I did with this is I used, I don't know if it was paint or texture paste or what I used. I can't remember now. But I did the one cat going one way. Then I cleaned it off and flipped the stencil the other way and did the cat going the other way. So I had the two sponsors. Yeah. So those are the cats. The kitties. They're not cats. They're kitties. That's the official name. And then there's this one, which are the doggies. And again, these are the 12 by 12, but they do come in the smaller size. So there are the doggies. And I love having the dog silhouette. This is a nice heart for a lot of things. And the paw print and the bone. And if you are a fan of, I think this is a Scotty, is that right? I think it's a Scotty dog. That is a great stencil for a Scotty. Aren't they cute? So, like I said, I just have the 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper under there, so you can see. So anyway, those are the stencils I got. And so I thought you guys might want to know that, you know, we can always enable each other with stencil addiction, can't we? Oh, fun. Okay. So, the next thing I want to talk to you about is we are going to get to the, I know, Linda, aren't they cute? The next thing I want to talk to you about is that there are so many of us that are getting ready for the first of the year. And the reason you got to get ready for the first of the year now, before Christmas is even here, is because you can't wait until the first of the year to get your act together. Sorry, I was hearing a noise. Okay. Must not have been important. And so I was invited by and agreed to teach in a class that is hosted by Kyla Givehand. Kyla's in the chat today. I believe she was here just a minute ago. Let me get back to my chat group. Yeah, Kyla's here, I believe. And so this particular class, that's called Book, it's based on her Book in a Day series that she did back several years ago. It's actually called, the official title is The Journey Within a Year of Handmade Journals. And so it's like it says, it lasts for a whole year. Oh, it's my button. That's what was making the noise. I'm like, what is that noise? It's me. It's me. Oh, sometimes it's been a long week. So anyway, this class lasts for a year. I'll give you a link that if you want to check it out, you're welcome to do that. And so this is the class, and it has, and Kyla's here so she can correct me if I get the details wrong. 6 core artists, and there's quite a number of guest artists. I think they're like 12 or 18 or something like that, guest artists. And so I'm going to do the, my month is April, I think is what we settled on. And I'm one of the guest artists, which means I will be doing one class in April. There's also a blog hop going on. And to find out about the blog hop, I know I'm giving you lots of links. And those of you watching the recording, if you look in the box below the video, whether it's on my my website or if you're happen to be watching on YouTube, if you look in the box below the video, so if you're on YouTube, click the show more and it will expand the box, and I'll have all these links in that. If you're watching on HowToGetCreative.com, you'll see it there. So it'll all be under, the information will be underneath that with all the various links. So what I wanted to read you were some of, let me see if I got my notes here, what you get during this, the Journey Within a Year of Handmade Journals. There's 6 video tutorials a month, monthly video tutorials from Kyla. There's a book structure, like how to make a monthly book. There's a page spread process, technique videos. They're core artists, 2 core artist videos a month, and 1 guest artist video a month. There are PDFs of supply lists, prompts for journaling, instructions for the book structure, and an invitation to a virtual monthly creativity conversation and access to a private discussion group. So that's it's pretty extensive. Content. Sorry, lost the word. Anyway, so the blog hop is going on right now. And so if you check the link that I gave you or just go to KylaGiveHand.com, you'll see the blog hop. You'll see the list of people. I have the list of people. I don't know that I can put them into. We're going to just try this. If it blows the chat, I'll start over or I'll start again. We'll see if this works. Okay, I don't know whether that will come through to you guys or not, but that is the list of, and it came through kind of, it looks like it might have come through a little wacky, but that might give you the list of some of the participants. I hope. It worked? Okay. That was a total crapshoot on my part. I didn't know whether that would work or not. Some of the themes that are going to go on during the Journey Within: explore and discover, self-love and intentional living, nature and natural living, poetry and music, creative empowerment, wonderment and dreams, sanctuary and silence, harvest and family, memories and archives, devotion and meditation, gratitude and words of wisdom, reflection and memory. So those are those are tentative. They're not written in stone. But yeah, if you want to check that out, you need to actually go over you need to click on that link and find out all the details. And Kyla, if there's anything you want to add, if you put it in there and write it in quotes, type it in quotes, I will read it into the video, because there's some of it that I'm not entirely, I don't have all the details firmly implanted in my head yet. Imagine such a thing, that I would get details crossed up, you know? So, okay. Yeah, here was one of the funny things. She asked each of us to give her a challenge. And then she's using the challenge. I'm not quite sure how she's using the challenge. If it's part of the, I guess it's part of the blog hop. You know, as I said, the wires are a little crossed up. Anyway, so we were supposed to give her a challenge. So I just did the first thing that was came off the top of my head. So she says, Kyla says, I'm looking forward to the challenge you gave me, Barb, pushing me out of my comfort zone. Don't ever ask people to give you a challenge unless you want to be propelled out of your comfort zone, right? Propelled. You won't go lightly. You will be slam dunk. No, the information's not on my blog. The information is on Kyla's website. So, and if you just click that link, if you want to know about it, you can click the link. It will take you over there. The information won't be on my blog until my turn in the blog hop comes up, which is like the 18th or something of this month. So, yeah. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I only agreed to be the guest teacher because I knew with doing my own website, my own class structure, that I wouldn't be able to do more than one. So anyway, okay. What else? Before we go on to, then feel free to keep chatting with Kyla about when you've got questions, ask her because she's in the group and she'll know all the answers. I wanted to give you a couple more links. And these are also to the to some other people that are involved in classes that are coming up starting in January. And this is one that went live today. And so this is called the Creative Jumpstart 2016. And Paula, who is Journal Artista, is one of the teachers on that. That is only in January. And so I think it's a 25 session class. And so you can find out about all of that on Paula's blog, which is journalartista.com. So that is another class that you can check out. And then, of course, there is LifeBook, which is also a year-long class. And so this, you can get more information about LifeBook on that link. And so I just thought I would share a couple more links with people because January is just like there's this letdown after Christmas is over, the holidays or whatever, whether you celebrate the holidays or don't. The holidays can affect you artistically, I find. And so sometimes you just need something to get you going. And the easiest way I find for that to be the case is to get involved in some classes. And hi, Colleen, welcome. And so there you go. You just, there's lots of things that you can do to spark that. And my feeling is if you have access to all of these amazing people, that it's great to do as many of them as you can. Whether you can do all the creative stuff is another thing. I watch all the videos, and many times just watching the videos is enough to just create that spark in you to get you go, oh, I could do this and this and this, and I could use this in this way. Or, rarely do I do things exactly the way it's presented in the class. That's just not me. I generally will take it off in my own direction and make it mine. So I heartily encourage anybody who is able to do it to participate in multiple classes. And when you have downtime, you can go back and you can, work through the prompts or work through the class or whatever. So, okay. So that's that. So you can keep asking Kyla questions. And what we're going to do this week and next week at this particular juncture, after we've kind of done our little talking thing, is we're going to do something different. Next week, you're going to have to come back because it's going to be story time with Barb. So you'll get to hear some story time with Barb. This week, however, I'm going to play the video that I recorded that has all of the Santas. And so this is about a 45-minute video, so it's going to take up a chunk of our time. And what's going to happen is you will think, although I'll be dressed in different clothes, you will think it's me live. It will not be. It's a recording. But what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to chat with you live. Anybody that's here during the live stream, I will chat with you. You can ask me questions and stuff in the chat because that's what I'm going to be doing. And if all works right, you'll get to see the video. Okay? So, here you go. Let's see if it works, shall we? These are the Santas that we created for the year 2015, created by Barb and R.L. Owen. This is just a little word of what they were and what we called them. So this one is Julian. Julian carries a magical pack over his shoulder filled with endless gifts to share with everyone on his list. He's walked many miles tonight and has many more to go, but somehow there's time to arrive at every single home. Julian's walking stick, adorned with a precious piece of hand-fused glass, enrobed in brass, provides support for his somewhat tired legs. The robe Julian wears is woven with gold threads and then hand-embroidered by Mrs. Claus. After all, Santa must look his best, mustn't he? So here is the fused glass. Right here. This is the hand-fused glass. Take a closer look. So this is a piece of hand-fused glass. This was a piece of glass that I fused in a workshop one day several years ago, and RL wrapped. They did all the wire sculpting and wrapping with brass wire. This is what I called the embroidery that Mrs. Claus did. It's actually painted motifs. And Julian's face, close up, there he is. Lots of detail. The walking sticks all come from the tree in our backyard. So there is Julian. Okay, and we also have a tag that we include with each one that says, each Tiger Claws creation begins with northern basswood, imagination, and the knives and carving gouges in R.L. Owen's hands. Once the carving and detailing are complete, each piece is painted and finished by Barb Owen, who acts as scribe for the stories whispered to her by each Santa. Once 40 to 60 hours have been invested, each Tiger Claws carving is finished and ready to go to its forever home. So each one of the carvings have that included as well. Okay, the next one, this one is Arvin. Arvin, and the names come from specific, because they have specific meaning in various cultures and so forth. And just to give you an idea of size, this one is 7.5 inches tall. That was Julian. This one, from the bottom, from the tabletop to the tip of his hat, is 8 inches tall. This one's actually a little more, probably he's closer to 8 inches up to the top of his stick. Okay, so this is Arvin. I'll scooch him in here where you can see him real well. Arvin, friend to all, spreads joy everywhere he travels. He smiles and laughs and reminds everyone that life is indeed precious, but not to be taken too seriously. In case you might forget Arvin's message, he created a little sign to help you. His friend Beaumont happily sings a magical song, but you have to be very quiet to hear it. So there is what he looks like from a distance. So this is Arvin and Beaumont. That's Beaumont. And take a closer look. There is Arvin's face. He has a very smiley, laughy, cheerful, jolly face. And his little friend Beaumont is also hand-carved. Everything on the pieces, unless they're noted as glass or stone, are all hand-carved. So Arvin, or little Beaumont, is from the tip of his nose to his tail is 3/4 of an inch. So he is quite a little, he's quite a little guy there. And there is the back of the sign. The post again came from a tree branch from our backyard. And the tiger paw on each carving is wood burned into the carving along with RL's initials. So that is Arvin and Beaumont. Okay, so we're starting with the little guys, and it doesn't mean just because they're little, doesn't mean that they took any less time, let me tell you. For sure. They're just a lot smaller. Okay, this guy is, see if I can get this out of your way. This guy is Abbott. Abbott, also known as Father Christmas, has been traveling for quite a long time. He will not stop until he delivers the gift he has carefully harvested. It's the perfect evergreen, all dressed in fine ornaments and lights. Abbott also carries a basket filled with bells to leave when no one is looking. So there's the bells. If you find a lonely jingle bell, you can be sure that Abbott has paid a visit. So there are the jingle bells. So he has a whole basket of red and gold jingle bells. This is all textured with knives and gouges and so forth to make the basket. So Abbott is done in shades of deep red, and his undergarment is done in shades of gold and green. There's his Christmas tree, his special gift for someone, all bedecked in lights and ornaments. And again, he has a walking stick to help him along his way. And he is attached to a separate base, just like the last one. And that is Abbott. This one has a name that I have a hard time pronouncing. And let's see. Abbott was a little less than 7 inches tall, and this little guy is just about 6.5 inches tall. Now, this guy's name is spelled Julenissesen, and he is known as the Christmas Gnome. He's in a hurry and traveling as fast as his little feet, and he does have little feet. Little feet can carry him to deliver his magical gifts. If you listen very closely on Christmas Eve, you might hear a soft jingle as he passes by your house. You're most likely to hear the bells on his walking stick just as you're drifting off to sleep. His greatest delight is sharing smiles and happiness with everyone. So here he is. So his name actually means the Christmas Gnome. So there's his face, and he has little bells on his walking stick. He is attached to a separate base, so the figure was carved separately, and then the base was carved, and then we put the two together. And he is, well, I would say about 90% of them, 95%, maybe even 98%, maybe even 100%. This one's my favorite. But you know what? They're all my favorite. They are each and every one my favorite. Okay. Next, we have Michaelis, as spelled with an M, as in Mary. So this is Michaelis, Michaelis. Michaelis, bedecked in a robe of regal red, white, and gold, makes you wonder what he's thinking about. You can tell by his smiling eyes that he's up to something. Perhaps he's preparing to deliver his beautiful gift to someone special. It's a piece of hand-fused glass encased with fine brass wire. The glass gift is as unique as each of us because it can never be created again. It's made with many small pieces of glass that are fired just long enough to become one. Michaelis wouldn't tell me his destination, but perhaps he's coming to your home. So here is Michaelis. And there's his face. Get him where you can see. There's his face. He does have the best smiling, curious eyes. He's very curious what he's thinking about. He's trimmed in white and gold and with some green shadowing. And here is the piece of hand-fused glass with brass wire. So there's the glass. Gift for someone special. And there he is. And Nicholas is, he's about 7 3/4 inches tall. So that is Nicholas. All right. This guy is named Gabe. Gabe. So this is Gabe. And Gabe is on a mission. He is spreading love and joy throughout the lands, and his red-trimmed green and gold robes keep him toasty warm as his walking stick assists him along the journey. Gabe's overflowing basket of jingle bells gently reminds those who are quiet enough to hear his gentle message of never-ending hope and peace. So he has a basket of jingle bells. And if you listen, they even jingle. Okay, so taking a closer look, he is also separate from the base. The base was a separate piece. So Gabe was carved all in one piece, and then the stick was carved separately and then attached. Everything was attached together. And here is his basket of bells. So he has jingle bells. So if you listen, you can hear them jingle a little bit. They're very soft. And his face, he has a very long sweeping beard. So his beard sweeps around. And his face, there's his face as he's looking for the direction he has to go next. Which way does he have to go? And his robes are green and then bedecked with some gold highlights. You can get a good shot of him there. Okay, so that is Gabe. And Gabe is a little over 9 inches tall. So that is our Gabe. This is truly one of my favorite pieces. And his name is Nick. What a fitting name. This is Nick. Nick is enjoying a few well-deserved quiet moments before donning his customary regalia for a full night of gift giving. As he stands outside the workshop admiring his sleigh and reindeer, his faithful companion Tiger decides to settle on his boots to, quote, help. I bet you didn't know that Nick wore plaid flannel shirts and overalls. So there's Nick. So you can see it must be cold because he's got his hands under his beard holding on to the straps of his overalls. So there he is. So that is Nick, and he is about 8.5 inches tall. And we'll take a close look at him. So first of all, you get to see Tiger. Now Tiger is also carved, hand carved, separate piece, and then attached on Nick's boots. But he's pretty sweet. He's a pretty sweet little cat. He's carved all in one piece. He does have separate whiskers. Those are not carved. So there's the back. You can see Tiger right peeking through his legs, sitting on his boots there. There's his pockets, and there's his flannel shirt. You can see his hands just peeking out from under his beard. He's got quite a portly little belly there. And there is Nick's face. He has a jolly face. He's pretty sweet. So there is his face. And his hat is trimmed in gold. And each one of the pieces has felt on the bottom, because they are wood. So we put felt on the bottom so that they don't scratch furniture or anything that you might put them on that might be kind of delicate. We want to protect that from the roughness of the bottom of the wood. This guy he is on the move. He is in motion. So I'll let you look at him this way. This is Quinn. Quinn, a wise and reasonable gentleman, which is what his name means, is headed to the home of someone very special. The tree, all decorated for Christmas, is an important gift that will brighten the surroundings and spirits of its recipient. Did you notice the basket of bells? So he's got a basket of bells right over here. Just a few. They seem to fall out of the basket from time to time. If you happen to find one, now you'll know where it came from. And if you happen to talk to Quinn, maybe he will tell you where he's headed tonight and who will receive the special tree. So he is quite decorated. His robe has gold sparkles on it. His gown at the bottom has trim painted around it. And then his other garment is all striped. So he's quite fancy. So this is Quinn. So we'll look at his face first. So here's Quinn's face. Doesn't he look like the kind of guy that you could just go give a hug to? I mean, he just has that loving expression on his face. So we'll just rotate him around. But you can see the sparkles in his red robe. He has on red mittens. He has a hood back here that's all slouched down. So he has a hood to pull up when it gets windy and cold. And as we come on around, then you'll see his sack full of jingle bells. And they're all kind of tilted down toward the front because some of them have already spilled out, you know. And he has a stick with a lantern on it to light his way. This is not an attached base. This is all carved in one piece. So there is the striping on his part of his undergarment, not undergarments, but robes. And then there is, it's very subtle, but there is painted trim all the way around the green garment. And his shoes peeking out, his toe is peeking out as he's trudging through the snow. And there's his tree all decorated that he's taking someplace special. So that is Quinn. And Quinn is about, he's just right at 8 inches in height. So that's Quinn. And this guy is pretty funny, if I do say so myself. He is pretty funny. So this is Ames. Now, Ames, when not delivering gifts around the world, likes nothing better than to slip on his favorite boots and hat and spend some time enjoying the North Pole. He loves to help the elves in the workshop. Together, they create beautiful rocking horses to encourage the imaginations of children. Taming a bucking bronco is always fun in one's mind. The rocking horse Ames is finishing is very special. Is it for someone you know? So there is Ames. Now Ames is one piece and the base. Ames and the base are one piece. The rocking horse is actually two pieces. So the rocker is formed of one other piece of wood, and the horse is made of a separate piece of wood. So give you a close-up look at the horse. So you can see the rocker. You can see how the rocker is actually a rocker. So if you took that horse out, which he won't come out, but if you took the horse out, he would actually rock. So there, and you can see that Ames has on, he has on his red jeans with stitching down the legs. He's got on his favorite cowboy boots. Ames is quite knock-kneed and pigeon-toed, which I think is adorable. And I don't know if Ames has been testing out this rocking horse or if he's just pretending to be a cowboy. I'm not really sure. And there is Ames' face. So you can see his face. And his favorite green cowboy hat. Of course it would be green with a red hat band, don't you know? So there is his hat. His green hat with a red hat band. And that is Ames. That's Ames. He is a special guy. He's a special guy. And Ames is, let's see, he's probably about 10.5 inches tall. Okay, this guy is Gannon. We're getting taller, so we're going to have to raise the camera just a little bit. And I won't be able to get him all in. Some of them are even taller than this one, so we'll have to make adjustments here in a little bit. So this guy, Gannon, is over 12 inches tall. Let me scoot him back. Maybe you can, yeah, can't really see the whole top of his head. We'll take a look at that in the other shot in just a minute. Gannon, did you know that was Santa's first name? Is returning to his sleigh to refill his favorite well-worn treasure sack, which is right here. Mrs. Claus has tried for years to convince Gannon that he needs a replacement, but he will not hear of it. Gannon insists that it would be like retiring a dear friend. So Mrs. Claus settles for sprucing up Gannon's robe and hat for the long journey each Christmas. I wonder where he's delivering that beautiful tree. So that is Gannon. He has trim all the way around the bottom of his robe. And we'll take a look at him closer so you can see the trim. And there is the tree. Now Gannon is all one piece, so this was all carved as one piece. So nothing is, none of the embellishments are added afterwards. This is all one piece. So you can see the trim that Mrs. Claus, wink, wink, nod, nod, puts around his garment. And here is his well-worn and well-loved treasure sack. You can see that it's so worn that the pattern has worn off of it. That once was so bright and cheerful, but it's Gannon's favorite. So what are you going to do? What you going to do? So there's Gannon's. I'm having to hold him at an angle because he is so tall. So there's Gannon's face, and his trim continues on around his hat. So that's our friend Gannon. Okay. All right, now we have a very different guy. I try to paint them all with different color combinations and different trims and everything. Partly because it keeps it interesting for me, but also it's just fun to experiment with different colors, different coloration, and so forth. And so, yeah, and I just wait to see kind of what they seem like they want. This one is, he is just called Santa, and he is about 12 inches tall. Santa, dressed in the beauty of a golden sunset, carries a Mexican crazy agate called Laughter Stone or Happy Lace. It's a stone of support and encouragement that elevates thought and promotes optimism. The patterns create a circular flow of energy that stimulates the mind and attitude. So this is Santa. So there's he has a very iridescent robe underneath his bronze-colored coat. This is the crazy Mexican crazy agate. I'll show that to you more closely in just a minute. But he's all metallic colors. So he's bronze and gold and pearl, and even his sack, which obviously he's emptied because it's very thin, or else it's a magical treasure sack that just fills as he delivers gifts. That could be possible too. And so here is he just has a little teeny toe peeking out from under that gown underneath. Here is the agate, the Mexican crazy agate, or happy lace, happy stone, laughter stone, or happy lace. But it's very interesting to see the patterning in that. And this again is all done with brass. And at the very top, the wire goes all the way through, and at the top it's twisted to hold it in. So it's intended to have a little bit of movement. And Santa's face, there he is. So he is Santa's face. His beard, something funny about him is his beard is tucked into the sash around his waist. So that's kind of funny. I love that. So there is Santa's face. A close-up of his face and his hat. See his hat. His hat has tones of gold and silver in it. He's very tall, so he's a challenge to get into the camera so you can see him, but I think you get the idea. So there is Santa with the Mexican crazy agate. All right. Next one we have is, he's again is very tall, so I can't even get his whole face in the camera here. Let's see. There we go. You can almost see all of him. Not quite, but almost. And from the base up to the tippy top of his hat is 15.5 inches or so tall. So he's quite tall and very thin. He's very thin. He needs to have a few more meals, don't you think? He needs to have Mrs. Claus fix him some food. And his name is Alden. Alden is an old friend, as his name suggests. When you meet Alden, you'll feel like you've known him forever. Alden's generosity is symbolized by the many packages that spill from his stocking and stack up around him. He has much to do, but he's never too busy to stop and drink a cup of hot chocolate with you. So there is Alden, and he has a stack of little teeny packages here spilling out of the stocking. They've spilled out to the point that they're stacked up all around him. Turn him around so you can see. And then we'll take a closer look with the close-up camera here in a minute. Now, Alden is a number of pieces. Alden himself is one piece. The base is another piece. His stack of packages here, each of these are individually carved. And each of the packages around here on the bottom are individually carved. And of course, they're individually painted. So lots of detail on Alden. So this is give you a shot of the base and all the packages. And his boots. So he actually stands on a mound of snow above the base. So just so you can see the base and all the packages, see the back of his boots. And then you can see he has on trousers, and he has a belt around his waist. He is very, very, very tall. And he's coming across as a little bit orange. He's actually much more of a true red. Red is a little bit challenging for my camera to pick up, but he's much more true red in color. And he has the pom-pom on the top of his hat up here. Okay, turning him around so you can see his face. Here is, he's so tall, I have to show him to you at an angle. Can't even get him straight up and down because he is so tall. There is his face and his beard. He has gold buttons on his coat. He has a belt with a gold buckle. And there are the stack of tiny little packages, each individually carved and painted, that are spilling out of the stocking that he's holding. So that is Alden. That's Alden. He is pretty special. I love him. I love them all. I really do. I really do. Okay. We got started carving and painting and creating Santas a long time ago. We've done them every year for quite a few years. And yeah, they are beautiful pieces. They're fun to do. They take an extraordinary amount of time, but you know, you got to do something. Might as well make Santas. Okay, this guy again is very tall, and so I'm going to scooch him back here so we got a chance to get to see him. And this is Quinlan, and he is 15.5 inches tall. And again, he is a very skinny Santa. Would fit in a tall, slender spot, maybe on a mantle or something. And this is Quinlan, and he's holding a list. It wraps all the way around him and his base. And this is all one piece. So the list is all part of the Santa. As you can tell by Quinlan's almost unending list, he has a lot to do. He takes a few moments to send love to each one he will see tonight because he knows that although people share many things in common, each is truly unique and worthy of his time and gifts. So this is Quinlan. So we'll take a look at Quinlan up close. Now he's painted in colors, in very light colors. Again, he's so tall, I have to really tip him down so you can see him. The pom-pom on his hat and the trim around his hat have polka dots. They're kind of a green, so are his mittens. He's done it all in shades of white and then shaded with different colors. So white shaded with green, or white metallic shaded with a dark red. And then you can see his list is coming down. It has names and special notes written all around the list. You can see his boots and the trim at the bottom of his robe. And you can see the list wraps all the way around the base. And he is cool. Again, his felt on the bottom. And that is Quinlan. Okay, this is Ivan. And Ivan's dressed in blue velvet. So let's see if we can see him. There we go. Okay, so this is Ivan. Ivan, regaled in blue velvet with sparkling moonlit white crystals, seems lost in thought about the gift he has yet to deliver. The special bear with its tiny heart of love carries the well wishes and a fun-loving spirit the elves stitched into him. Ivan knows just the person who needs him, and after a few moments of contemplation, he'll be off in a flash to place his precious gift under the perfect tree. So there's Ivan. So you can see the moonlit crystals sparkling out of his robe. So we'll take a closer look. So we'll start with his face. So here's Ivan's face. He has a very pensive look about. He's just really contemplating where this little bear is going to go. Where is he taking him? There is the back, Ivan's back. His belt is silver to go with his blue velvet robe, and he has green velvet mittens on. So he has a sash or belt made of silver. His undergarment, his underdress is shades of green. His little toe is peeking out. He is all one piece except for the bear. So the basket, Ivan, the base, everything is all one piece except for the addition of the bear, which is also hand carved. So this little bear was hand carved. He is about 1.25 inches tall. He has a little tiny red heart painted on his chest. He's got stitching lines all over him where all the, where the elves stitched him together, of course. So there's his basket. You can see the basket from the back as well. It's very detailed. So there is Ivan. Ivan the Great. Okay, so there's Ivan. And we have two more. The elves in our workshop were busy this year. Absolutely. Absolutely busy. Okay, this is another tall. Oh, and I don't know if I told you how tall Ivan was. He's about 11.25 inches tall. This guy right here is another one of the tall, skinny ones, and he is almost 17 inches tall. He is the tallest. He's the tallest of all the guys, of all the tall, skinny ones. So we're just going to take a look at him a little bit at a time because he is real tall. This is Mathis. Mathis is ready for his night of travel and magic, as he always does before climbing into the sleigh full of treasures. He plucks a star from the heavens and pauses, so you can see the star right here. He plucks a star from the heavens and pauses to reflect upon the beauty of the season. And just like every year, Moonbeam settles at his feet as if to warm them one last moment before Mathis takes flight. If you happen upon a lonely jingle bell, don't worry, it's just an extra gift for you from Mathis. Okay, so there is Moonbeam sitting on his feet. Moonbeam is a separate carving. Moonbeam has whiskers. I'll show those to you up closer in just a minute. And he has on green striped trousers. And he has a treasure sack over his shoulder full of jingle bells. And he carries the star in his hands that he plucks from the heavens. And just so you can kind of see his face, there is his kind, sweet face. And this is Mathis. So that's the back of him. All right, so we'll take a closer look. So here you can see the star that he holds. Star is a separate piece. You can see his mittens. And then coming up to his face, Again, because he's so tall, I can't tip him. He's tipped way back because he's so tall. He has a very long hat. The pom-pom at the bottom. So there's the back with the trim on his coat. And coming down, you'll see his treasure sack with the jingle bells in it. Just a few. Just a few. And coming on down, you'll see the bottom of his robe. So there's the back of his robe. And there is the kitty known as Moonbeam. It's a black and white tuxedo kitty. And Moonbeam has a little tail. It's hard to see over here, but there is a tail that curls around, and whiskers. And he stands on a mound of snow, admiring everything just before he takes flight to go deliver his packages. So that is Mathis. And then one last Santa, and that is Xavier. So this is Xavier. He is a very different piece. Every year we do one piece that is completely different from all the rest. And this one this year is Xavier. And he is about 12 inches tall. And I'll read you his story and then we'll take a look at him. Xavier takes a moment of rest before traversing the world to share gifts of love, hope, peace, and joy. As the moonlight sparkles on his stunning red coat, he contemplates the journey while his faithful companion settles in his shadow for some much-loved snuggles. The tree behind Xavier is encrusted with gems of all kinds that carry messages of encouragement and optimism. Xavier knows just the person who needs its beauty. So this is Xavier. And so we'll take a look at him up close here. So we'll start down here at the bottom with the dog. So there's the puppy, and the puppy is asleep, and the puppy is a separate piece, carved completely separately from the rest of the piece. Everything else is carved in one piece except for the star on the top of the tree. So the snow mound, the Santa, the tree, all of that is carved in one piece. And the tree is all encrusted with different kinds of gemstones. This is amethyst. These are aventurine. This is unakite. This is goldstone up here. It's a very sparkly stone. You can see it shining in the light, little sparkles in it. That's goldstone. There's some bits of quartz. There's a piece of tiger eye. There's some different agates. This is a piece of tiger eye down here. There's some different agates. There's just a number of different gemstones, tumbled gemstones. And we got the stones and tumbled them. And yeah, so perfect tree ornaments. But each one of them has a significance of its own, and there were just too many to include them all in the story. So it'll be a discovery for whoever Xavier goes to live with. If they want to research the stones, they can find out all kinds of cool information about the symbolism behind the stones and so forth. So that's the tree. Here is, let's see if I can get it in here. Here's the star that's on top of the tree. That's a separate piece. Here's Xavier's face. He's very pensive. He's very pensive. He's thinking about his job tonight, what he has to do. And you can see the moonlight shining on his robe as it sparkles against his robe. And you can see his face. And you can see his hat. Again, he's pretty tall, so I have to kind of tip him over so you can see him. That is Xavier. So that completes the tour through the Santas for 2015, created by Barb and R.L. Owen. And yeah, we're known as Tiger Claws Carvings. We only do this once a year. My RL, my husband, does other kinds of carvings as well. He has carved many things like birds and eagles and hillbillies and walking canes and all kinds of things, different kinds of songbirds, shorebirds, all different kinds of things. But at this time of year, the only thing that we carve and work on are the Santas. So that's it. Just wanted you to be able to see what we did for the year 2015. Okay, we should be back live. Okay, we should be back live, right? Okay. Yeah, the recording should be done and we should be back live again, right? Okay, thank you. Okay, I think it was Kyla asked what ones, how you would know what we had or didn't have. And so I'm just going to show you the ones that, thank you. I'm going to show you the ones that have sold. Okay, so these are photographs, and the light may drive you crazy, but it's the best. Keep getting in the wrong spot. So I'm going to show you the ones that are gone. This one is gone. This was the one who has the name I can't pronounce, Julianson or something like that. And he's gone. This one is Julian, the gold one. He's gone. Hi, Penny. This one is Michaelis or Michaelis, depending on how you say it. He's gone. This one is Nick, and he's the one with the kitty, the little yellow tabby cat. He's gone. Hi, Chris. Thanks for popping in. And this one is Xavier, and he's gone. So he is the one that was at the very end. I think, let me just flip through here real quickly. I think that was it. So, oh no, there's one more that's gone. This, this one with the black and white kitty, he's gone. So those are the ones that are gone at as of the recording today. So the prices range from they're in the neighborhood of $300 to $400. So that's the price range. And they vary depending on what's included and so forth. So anyway, that's the deal about that. Okay, thanks for indulging me. I just wanted to, I thought, well, that was the easiest way for me to show you guys the pieces because I knew a bunch of them or some of them would be gone by the time we got here today. And so that was the easiest way for me to show them to you. So we're going to do a quick little thing and then we're going to go for today. And as I said, next week we'll be doing story time with Barb. You'll have to come back and find out what that means. So what we're going to do, if you have any questions, be sure you pop them in the chat in capital letters. And you can always contact me via email, which is barb@HowToGetCreative.com. Yeah, thanks, Rain. So here's what I was going to do today, just because I thought it would be fun. Some of you guys, I think, still do the pocket letters, and I think you remember, most of you remember that I did a few weeks ago, I did the ornaments for the little tree for my granddaughter, and I was trying to figure out, they were for an Advent tree, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to present them, or not present, that's a stupid word, but give them to her. And because it was an Advent tree that was made of wood, and the original set of ornaments that we made were all little wooden miniature ornaments. And, that somehow in the shuffle with all the stuff that went in on with her family, somehow the ornaments got separated from the tree. And so she asked me if I would make another set of ornaments. So I did them out of polymer clay, because that's how I could think that I could get them done for her. And so I was trying to figure out how to give them to her, because I had all the ornaments finished. And so I thought I would give them to her in the form of using the pocket letter pages or the baseball storage pages or whatever. Thank you guys. I appreciate you appreciating what we do. So I thought what I would do is I would use these little pockets, and so I would make little tiny envelopes. And so that's what I did. I made little envelopes. This one's not glued together because it's got my measurements and stuff on it. But I made little envelopes. So I made 25 envelopes and put with a gold pen, I just numbered them. And when she came over and picked them up the other night, she said, "Oh, I need to look at them." And I said, "No, the whole point, the whole point is that it's an Advent tree. This is a very different Christmas for her. And so I was trying to come up with something that would make it completely different, that was a tradition that she could use or do, just for her, because it would be completely different. And so that's what I did. I packaged them this way. And so I made them in all different colors of Christmas papers and put one ornament. They fit beautifully. And then there were 3 pages. And then I tied them together using baker's twine, and then I took one sheet protector on the back and printed off the picture of the tree so she would know where the ornaments were supposed to go. So she had the picture of where the ornaments went. She had the ornaments all in the little envelopes, and then I have found a little nylon, well, it was a little organza, I think it was nylon organza bag that had ribbon pulls, and I put the beaded garland that goes on the tree, put that in the little bag, and so that's what I did. Anyway, this of course doesn't have to be done for Christmas, but I thought, well, if you guys were doing the pocket pages, that you might get it might be fun to do these little envelopes. So I don't have an envelope maker. And so I thought, well, I'll figure out, how to do it the old-fashioned way. And so I thought, well, I'll make one for you real quickly. And then, if you're interested in it, if you don't have an envelope maker, you'll be able to do it too, the easy way. So you just take a piece of paper and you cut it 4.5 by 6 1/4. So I'm going to go 6 1/4 here. And I'm not good with saving paper, I got to tell you. So I'm just going to cut it 6 1/4, and I'm going to cut it the other direction 4.5. Now you have to think, when you have paper that has a specific pattern on it, such as the stripes like this. So it's directional paper. So here are my 2 examples of the striped paper, directional paper. If you want the stripes to go across the envelope this way, then you're going to cut the paper so the 4.5 length is going across the width of your pattern this way, okay? If, on the other hand, when it goes in the pocket, it goes in the pocket this way. If you want the stripes to be crosswise that direction, because it just truly depends on personal taste, which way it's going to you like it. And maybe it doesn't make any difference to you. If it doesn't, then do whatever. And this one I did doing the 4.5 inch width of the paper, or the 6.25 inch length went across the paper. Okay? So that's probably as clear as mud, but there you go. All right, I'm just going to test the chat because all of a sudden it stopped moving. Okay. I've either bored the audience to death or they're all watching. I'm not sure which because all of a sudden the chat stopped. Anyway. All right. I pass. Okay, thanks, Jamie. Much appreciated. So I'm just going to use my little Martha Stewart scoring board. It's the little one because these are little pieces. And put the paper on here with the right side up. And then you're going to score, because this is 4.5 inches wide, you're going to score at 4. And then at 1/2 inch. Okay, so the 4.5 is across the top of the scoring board. And then turn it. So now it has the 6.25 length across the top. And you're going to score at 1.5 and 4. Okay. And I'm just using the tool that comes, well, I did that just really badly. Let me do this again. I got in the wrong groove. Good thing that this is just a little test. I just used the tool that came with it because it makes the score a little fatter. And also when you're working with paper, because this is not cardstock, this is just plain old paper, it is being recorded, yeah. I usually use a stylus so that it makes a thinner scoring groove. But for this, I wanted it to be fatter because it was a little envelope. So anyway. All right, so what's going to happen now is I'm going to write this on here. Let me write it in Sharpie. So this direction is 4.5 inches. This direction, it's 6.25, right? Yeah, 6.25. Okay, so that is the whole dimension from edge to edge. Okay, like that. So 4.5 by 6.25. So what you're going to do now is I scored it at 1/2 inch, so there's 1/2 inch from each long side. Okay, so 1/2 inch from each long side. And then from one side, from one end, so this is from one end, this is over 1.5 inches. And then I went, just leaving it right there, I just measured over to the 4-inch line and scored it again. So I scored there, and then I scored here. So that's probably, again, clear as mud, but that's how you do it. All right, then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to, and I found it easiest to do with scissors because that's what I had. And I'm going to take off that and this and this and this. Okay, so I'm going to remove those spots that have the yellow. Yeah, it's being recorded. And the whole thing is recorded. Even the video that was already recorded. It all works. All right, so this part I need to leave, but I need to angle this because if I don't angle it, it doesn't fold properly. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. I'm not going to guarantee that this one is going to be perfect envelope, by the way. All right, so I've angled that, and then I'm going to cut off that part that I marked in yellow. Turn it around and do the same thing. And I know you guys that are card makers and book makers, you know, do the mini albums and all that. This is like totally elementary. But, and if you have the envelope maker, you don't even need this because you can do it on your envelope maker. But I don't have one, and I thought there's other people that don't have it, right? Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and fold the flaps. So everything is scored. So I'm just going to do the little folds. So I'm going to fold those. I'm going to fold up the bottom because the longer piece is the bottom and the shorter piece is the top. And then just give it a good press, burnishing with your whatever your bone folder or scoring kind of thing that you want to use. Okay. So I think it's nice if you round the corners and stuff. So for my inside piece, for this piece right here, and here's where those little tabs were angled right in there, because if you angle these cuts right in here, then they don't get in your way when you're trying to make the folds, and that's why I do that. Okay, so for the bottom flap, I'm using the 1/2 inch corner rounder. You could use whatever you want, but I like the 1/2 inch, so I've done that. And then for the top flap up here, I have another one of these. You could use whatever you have. I have another one, and this has the stub and the deco, so I'm going to use the stub. I'm going to have to stop and let Muppet in here in just a second. She's barking. You can use whichever one you want. Both of them are nice, but I just did that. If you have punches and you want to punch around the edge or whatever, that's fine too. So let me take just a quick second and go let her in so she doesn't get me in trouble with the neighbors. I'll be right back. Lie down. Lie down. Okay, little Missy can't keep her mouth shut. Okay. All right, so that's that. So there is our little envelope, and then I just ink it. So we're going to just, because it's here, I'm going to use one of the new little Stays-On pads. Let's use the dark one, just because I think you'll be able to see it more. So I just, while it's folded up, I just go around and ink the edges. And up here I can see I didn't trim it very well, so sometimes I have to go back and trim something a little bit more because it's like, not so good. But these are handmade little envelopes. They're not made, they're not fancy. They're just made with my hands. So they're going to have a handmade look. So I inked all around the edges, and then I'm going to flip this open, and you, of course, would do a better job of inking. Or not. Or not. And then I'm going to ink around this part too. Okay, so you can ink it the way you want. I just think the inking gives it just kind of a nice look. All right, and then you're going to glue the flaps. So I'm just going to put it on a little extra piece of paper in case I get slop glue off of it. And then I'm going to just put some glue on the flaps and fold it up. You don't want to get the glue all the way at the top, because if you put glue all the way up here, the inside, we rounded those corners, so you don't want to do that. And then that flap pulls down. Now I didn't, because I wanted her to be able to use the envelopes again in case she wanted to put them back in the envelopes in the pocket pages, which I don't know if she will or not. But I thought, you know, if she wants to do that, I didn't want to glue everything shut. So what I did instead was I just, you know, created the envelopes. So we'll pretend that the envelopes are finished and just put them in the pockets, and I arranged the colors the way that, you know, so it was pretty. And I just put them all in with their little prizes in there. I think it's such a great, and I know you can't see, we'll put these white ones in here just so you kind of get the idea. Okay, so it's just really fun and pretty. It's just fun. So that way you could do, of course it wouldn't have to be Christmas themed, but you can see the flaps, maybe. You can see the flaps. Let me see if I can show you over here. Yeah, so you can see the flaps of the envelope. So I just put all the flaps going the same direction. You can see it the best on this one. So, yeah. Anyway, so that is what I did for a little Advent thing. And actually the idea for using the this thing for an Advent calendar came from a YouTube channel that I think was called Mimi's Musings. She was doing that for her nephews, I think, or nieces and nephews or whatever, but I think it's Mimi's Musings. M-I-M-I-S, I think is what it is. And she was using envelopes that she purchased, I think at a craft store or something. And that's what she used to put in the pockets. And she put little gifts in for the kids to open each day in December, which I thought was fun. But I thought, well, I've got some paper. I don't have as much paper as a lot of people have. I probably have more fabric than paper. But I thought, well, it would be fun to do something similar. So that's what I did. So, yeah. All right. So that is what I had to show you today. So, you have any questions about anything? If not, we're going to get the sponsors out. Stick things back on my shelves here and there. So I'll clean up a minute while I give you time to ask questions. It's just a fun little thing. And like I said, if you have an envelope maker, I don't even remember who makes the envelope maker. Is it We Are Memory Keepers makes the envelope maker? If you have that, I don't think you need to do this. You just follow the instructions on your envelope maker. Okay, let me get the sponsors. And then we'll go. It's very sunshiny today, so they have been busy soaking up the sun. And I'm sure they are just hotter than firecrackers. Are you coming up? You coming up? Come on. You're sleepy. He's over here stretching. Are you coming up? Oh, thanks, Josie. So, Algal, are you Sue? I forgot your name. I can't find my cheat sheet. It's gotten lost in my papers. Ooh, ah. All right, come here. Oh, thanks, Rain. Thanks, Cindy. All right, are you gonna lay down so everybody can see you? Are you gonna lay down so they can see you? Huh? Are you? Charlie's on the floor coughing, so we'll just leave him for the moment. Lay down so you can see your pretty face. Yes, okay, good. Yeah, Charlie's got the cough going. So we'll just let him stay on the floor and cough rather than put him up here and subject you to that. I ran out of his stuff that I give him every other day, so I got to go take myself over to the vet and refill it, so that'll help him stop doing that. Yeah, so are you going to say hi? You going to say hi to the world? You say hi, world. This is Chance, in case you don't know. Thanks, Ella. Mr. Bear says, wow to Mr. Claus, man. Thank you for showing us. Oh, thanks, Jan. Yeah, so here's old Chance. I have to show you Charlie. He only made it just so far. So sorry about the camera moving, but don't tell my son. He only made it that far before he gave up. This is, I can't go any further. I can't go one more step. No, I can't go one more step. Question. I made an advent calendar making paper boxes on foam board. What glue would be best? I would use the crafter's pick if it was me. Or the Aleene's tacky glue might do it. But this stuff, the crafter's pick, the ultimate, will glue basically anything. And it's Chance approved. So that's what I would use. Because it is, on the label it says the only non-toxic water-based super glue. It adheres to metals, plastic, glass, and more, and dries clear. And that's, my experience is exactly that. So that is the glue that I would choose, I think, first. So, yeah, Charlie, you just couldn't make it up here today, could you? You just couldn't. No, you just couldn't do it. All right, so that, before Chance shows his nether region to the world, we're going to go. So thank you for hanging out with us today. And you ready to get up here for a minute? Now he wants up here, so no. Now he's changed his mind. So thanks for coming today, and I will see you next week. And yeah, it could be fun. You never know. So thanks, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And cheers, everybody. Have a good rest of your drama-free Friday, okay? I'll see you next week.